been wondering when to downsize your home, you may be asking yourself the wrong question. The better question may be, what could waiting another 3 to 5 years actually cost me? And I'm not only talking about money.
Waiting too long to downsize, well, it can cost you more than money. It can cost you options, it can cost you energy, it can cost you peace of mind. And sometimes it can cost you the chance to make this move on your own terms. A lot of people think downsizing is something they will deal with later. Later when life slows down. Later when the timing feels better. Later when they feel more ready. But later, well, it has a way of getting expensive. Not just financially, emotionally, physically, and practically too. If you've been thinking about downsizing, this is something worth paying attention to because downsizing is usually easier when it's your choice. It's much harder when it becomes your only option. Many people put it off for very understandable reasons. The house feels familiar. The memories are there. The idea of sorting through everything feels overwhelming. You may not know where you want to go next, and for some people, the home still feels manageable enough, even if deep down they know it's becoming harder and harder with each passing day. There is also another reason that does not get talked about often enough: money. Sometimes people are retired. Sometimes income is more fixed than it used to be. Sometimes the cost of the home is starting to feel harder to carry. Property taxes, utilities, repairs, insurance, maintenance, it all adds up. And when income is not rising the way costs are, the home can start putting pressure on your finances in a way that slowly chips away at comfort and choice. That is why I want to talk about the real cost of waiting too long to downsize. Not to pressure you, but to help you protect your options while you still have them. The first cost is fewer choices. This is one of the biggest ones. When you start looking at downsizing earlier, you usually have more flexibility, more time to explore different types of homes, more time to look at different areas, more time to decide whether a condo, bungalow, townhouse, or smaller detached home really fits your next stage of life. You can think clearly, you can compare, you can ask better questions, you can make a decision based on what feels right, not what feels urgent. But when people wait too long, they often end up moving because something has forced the issue. Maybe the upkeep has become too much. Maybe the stairs are becoming harder. Maybe the yard feels like work instead of enjoyment. Maybe health has changed. Maybe the bills are starting to feel too heavy. When that happens, the move becomes reactive. And reactive moves usually come with more compromise. Instead of choosing the home that best supports your life, you may end up choosing the one that solves the problem the fastest. That is a very different experience. The second cost is financial strain. This one matters more than many people realize. A lot of people, well, they assume the financial question is simple. What is my home worth? What will the next place cost? What are the interest rates doing? These are important questions, but they are not the full picture. The real financial cost of waiting often shows up in the monthly carrying costs of the home you are in now. If you are retired and on a fixed income, that pressure can build quietly. Maybe the mortgage is paid off, but the costs still keep coming. Property taxes may rise. Utility bills may rise and probably will. Insurance may rise. Repairs may rise, showing up more often. A roof, a furnace, windows, a driveway, appliances, tree work, snow removal, lawn care. And here's what often gets missed. Sometimes people delay the move because they are worried that moving will cost too much. But in some cases, staying is what's costing them more. Not just in dollars leaving the bank account, but in the stress of always managing the next bill, the next repair, the next surprise. That kind of pressure can affect how you feel in your day-to-day life. Now, the third cost is physical effort. Downsizing takes energy. There is sorting, packing, donating, moving, cleaning, organizing, setting up a new home. A move that feels possible today may feel much harder a few years from now. That is not meant to sound dramatic. It's just true. And the physical side is only part of it. Downsizing also takes decision-making energy. What do I keep? What do I let go of? What still matters and what still fits my life? What kind of home will serve me best in the years ahead? These are not small questions. When you start earlier, you can do this in stages. You can pace yourself. You can make thoughtful decisions. You can ask for help before it feels urgent. That usually makes the whole experience less stressful and more manageable. The fourth cost is emotional weight. This part is often underestimated. Many people think the hardest part of downsizing is dealing with belongings. That can be hard, but often the heavier part is carrying the decision around for years without acting on it. You know, the house may be too much. You know, things are changing. You know, a move may eventually make sense. But because the decision stays unfinished, it starts taking up space in the background. Every repair brings it back up. Every room you no longer use brings it back up. Every season of upkeep brings it back up. Over time, that can create a quiet kind of stress. The home that once felt easy and comforting can start to feel heavy. Not because the home is bad, but because your life has changed and the house may not match it the way it once did. That is an important truth. Sometimes the issue is not that the home is too big. It is that the life required to maintain it no longer feels right for you. And that's okay to admit. Right here, another video that might help is this one on lifestyle decision. Because for many people, downsizing is not just about moving to a smaller home. It's about choosing a lifestyle that fits the life they want now. The fifth cost is the loss of independence. This doesn't always get said out loud, but many people feel it. Most people want to make their move on their own terms. I get it. They want to think it through. They want to explore their options. They want to feel that their decision is their decision. If you wait until there's a health event, a financial squeeze, or a sudden life change, the choice can start to feel like it is being made for you. That is what many people want to avoid. Planning earlier helps protect your independence. It helps protect dignity. It helps protect your ability to decide what happens next. Now, the sixth cost is family stress. This is another issue that is often not discussed enough. When a home is becoming harder to manage, family members often notice before anything is said. They may see the strain. They may see the cost. They may worry about safety. They may worry about how much is being handled alone. That can create tension. The person living in the home may feel pushed. The family may feel worried. And everyone may start talking from emotion instead of clarity. The longer things are left unspoken, the harder those conversations can become. Starting earlier gives everyone more breathing room. The more room to talk calmly, the more room to plan, the more room to make thoughtful decisions instead of emotional ones. The seventh cost is what you delay gaining. This is the part many people don't think enough about. When people think about downsizing, they often focus on what they are leaving. The family home, the familiar space, the memories. But the other side of downsizing matters too. What you might gain by making the move sooner. Maybe lower monthly costs, maybe less maintenance, maybe less physical work, maybe more freedom to travel, maybe being closer to family, maybe a home that is easier, safer, and more comfortable for this stage of life. Maybe it's simply a feeling of relief. Relief that the bills are more manageable. Relief that the home fits your life better. Relief that you are no longer carrying a house that asks more from you than you want to give. That matters because the cost of waiting is not only what you lose, it is also what you postpone receiving. More ease, more freedom, more peace of mind, more control. So, what should you do if this has been on your mind? You don't need to rush, and you don't need to force a decision before you are ready, but you also do not want to ignore the signs. If the home that you're in is becoming harder to manage, if the costs are becoming harder to carry, if retirement income feels more restrictive, or if you know deep down that the house no longer fits your life the way it once did, it may be time to start looking at your options. Not because anyone should pressure you, because you deserve clarity. A good downsizing plan is not about rushing you into a move. It's about helping you protect your choices before those choices start getting smaller. That is the real cost of waiting too long to downsize. It can reduce your options. It can increase stress. It can make the move harder physically, emotionally, and financially. And it can take away some of the control you still have today. If this is something that you've been thinking about, I have a free downsizing guide that can help. It will walk you through important questions to ask, help you think through your options, and make the process feel less overwhelming. You can download my free downsizing guide. The link will be in the show notes below.